You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to watching the Financial Survival Network. Well, if you have one New Year's resolution for this year, and I hate New Year's resolutions myself, because if it was something you should have been doing, why wait for New Year's? You should have done it before, but you should be planning. And planning for what, you might ask? Well, the person you're about to hear from is an expert in planning in logistics, worked for a billion-dollar company, saving them tens of millions per year. Name is Chuck Knabusch. And Chuck, it's great to have you on the show. You've written a book about this. Logistics is planning, right? In the Army, they say wars are won and lost through logistics, right?
Absolutely.
So what's your plan for 2023 to get this message out about planning?
Well, a lot of it is just, podcasts such as yours. I mean, what a phenomenal audience you have. I'm working with a couple local chambers of commerce, trying to go ahead and kind of work local and see what we can go ahead and do on a broader scale beyond that.
Okay. So what's the first rule of planning?
I don't know that there's hard and fast rules of planning, but realistically, plan when you have the opportunity. A number of years ago while I was working my corporate gig, we had a tornado hit a particular facility that I was over, and that plant supported 10 other plants. So it hit on a Saturday night. I got the call from corporate saying, guess what? This is all on your shoulders. Don't shut down the rest of the division. Well, we didn't have a continuity plan at the time. It wasn't, I don't know, maybe an hour later, and I was starting getting calls from the 200 or so employees that we had. So immediately they're, hey, do I have a job come Monday morning? I said, you have a job. I don't know that you'll be working on Monday morning. Give me a day or two or three to plan, pull a team together. We'll go ahead and do some planning. We'll get you back to work. We are not going to leave you sitting at home. We're not going to shut down all the other divisions' plants. We are not going to go ahead and let our consumers go without the furniture that ultimately we produce.
All right.
So, and from that whole process, I learned that, take the time to plan up front. Even if you don't know that you're going to go ahead and execute that plan, you've had the opportunity now to think through a lot of different alternatives. So when whatever hits, you could say, okay, I can go ahead and kind of pick and choose. Well, that plan's not the best, or this idea or this left turn's not the right way to go. But you've had a chance to look at a number of different options and say, what should I go ahead and apply given this current situation?
Okay. So basically they threw it all on your lap, but that's not such a bad thing because that gives you an opportunity to really show what you are capable of and what you can do when your back is against the wall. So in that case, tornado hits, the show must go on. The mail's got to get delivered. So what did you do? What kind of strategy did you come up with to literally put that plant back together?
Well, reassembling the plant was actually given to our facilities engineer because that's kind of his forte. Mine was going through and getting the production done. We called, probably 50 or 100 different similar wood cutting facilities within 500-600 miles of us, and we rented out their off shifts. And then we transported our people to those locations. So our people had a job, had a way to go ahead and work, and feed their families. They were familiar with what products, what parts we were making. They were familiar with quality. The only thing they didn't know is necessarily the new facility. So we gave them some training on what those routers and what those drills and what those saws were all about from a safety perspective. And then we would send them out for 2 weeks. They would go ahead and work. They'd come back for a long weekend, and we'd send them back out for another 2 weeks. And this rotation went on for about 6 months until our facility was rebuilt and they're all able to come home.
Hey, so I hope the company rewarded you for your abilities and your efforts that help keep them successful.
Oh, absolutely. But again, it was not a single individual's effort. While I may have been kind of the point man, I assembled a great team. We had a scheduler, we had quality people, we had safety people, we had accountants, and we created our own war room. We put up whiteboards everywhere because communication is such a part of planning. Because if everybody isn't on the same plan, you can go ahead and tear a plan apart almost instantly. So we put up whiteboards and say, okay, this whiteboard's all about HR. This one's all about getting our suppliers, and where they're going to go ahead and deliver. This is about where production is being made. This is about quality. And we just put it up on a whiteboard. People had responsibilities for each thing, and you could erase it. You could put it back up. So within minutes of walking in what we called our war room, you could immediately know what the plan was up to the minute and say, well, I've got some questions on this, so let's do a deep dive. And we did that, like I said, for about 6 months, and it was a phenomenal exercise. We learned a lot. And immediately after, the company said, let's go ahead and do contingency planning and continuity planning throughout the division to make sure we don't have something like this happen again, and we don't go ahead and have the potential for dropping the ball and not being able to go ahead and recover as quickly as we did.
All right. And how can you introduce those concepts to your personal life, to your business life? As a small business person, you're not a multi-billion-dollar company. You can't just marshal all these resources at once, can you?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near 2 producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold 2 companies in the past 7 years. Osino has an excellent shareholder base with Ross Beatty owning 20%, insiders 5%, and Resource Capital Funds 8%. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to osinoresources.com. That's osinoresources.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
No, absolutely. I mean, and especially a solopreneur, but even an entrepreneur with a small company. But I think what the important thing is it's stepping back, because generally those entrepreneurs, they're so busy working in their company, they don't get a chance to always step back and work on their company. So take the time, step back. You don't have to go ahead and do it every day, maybe once a week, once a month, and just play what if. What if this happened? How would I go ahead and deal with it? Write it down. Because again, you may not remember everything, but you write it down. You say, well, if I would make this decision, these might be the likely outcomes, and spend the time. I mean, it goes all the way back to the business plan or the annual plan that most business owners have. What do I want to do this year? How much money do I want to make? What kind of profit margin do I want to have? And hopefully they're doing that every year. And along with that, they can throw in a little continuity planning, a little contingency planning. Because again, I mean, a tornado can hit anywhere. We've seen them across the country over the past year, absolutely devastating. And I know when a tornado does hit, the first thing you're thinking about is not necessarily your business. You're thinking about your family. But part of your family is being able to go ahead and provide that income to go ahead and get them back on their feet.
Okay. Well, Mike Tyson always said a plan is great until you get hit in the head.
Absolutely.
So what do you do when you get hit in the head?
Well, I spent 7 years in the Army, so very similar type of thing. We would go ahead and make a plan. We would possibly exercise the plan, and they would throw some curveballs at us to see what would we do. Similar, as you're doing your planning, you're thinking through, okay, if this happens, I can do this, and if this happens, I'm going to do that. But what happens if this doesn't happen? So, I mean, that should be part of your planning. It may be at some point in time, sit down with a partner, a consultant, and just an outside perspective and say, okay, I've got a continuity plan here for in case a tornado hits. let me talk it through with you and throw some curveballs at me to see if I can go ahead and respond quickly during a conversation. Again, it's a way of exercising your plan without having to go ahead and destroy anything. And you'd be amazed at the insights you get just from an outside perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they always say, if you don't plan to succeed, then you're planning to fail, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So what's the best plan you ever made in your life?
Probably when I planned to get married, to be honest. And that's exactly what my wife will tell you, too.
How long's that been? How long?
We've been married 11 years now.
All right. Well, hey, an 11-year plan that's working out. I love it when a plan comes together, Chuck. Hey, so besides getting your book, which is on Amazon and wherever fine books used to be sold, I believe the title is Hope is Not a Business Strategy. And so obviously hope isn't, you got a plan, but you got to have hopes as well. So planning can help bring your hopes to fruition, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So somebody starting out, just graduated from college or perhaps canned college because they said, I'm going to go into business. What is the one piece of advice that you would give them about logistics and planning?
I mean, start out with, what are your values? What's important to you? Because again, if you don't understand your values, how are you going to communicate those to your customer? Then decide what problem of your customers you're going to go ahead and solve, and go ahead and work at solving it. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And then work with your customers on their expectations. So many times, as I've contracted with outside contractors, whether to put in a pool or to build a house or to work with an architect, there was something missing because we didn't go ahead and really work through the expectations up front. And again, expectations can change, but if you are the entrepreneur and you don't set the expectations with your customer, they're already going to have a set of expectations. And there's no way you're ever going to be able to hit those expectations unless you know what they are. So communicate, have the conversation with them as to what is it you expect from me, and this is what I'm expecting to go ahead and do for you.
All right, I like it. I think you should definitely go out there, get the book. Hope is Not a Business Strategy. Chuck, people want to communicate with you, connect with you on the web. How do you do that?
Easiest way to find me is 131013ten.com. That is 13ten.com. And you'll go ahead and see my website. There's email links and everything else in there to go ahead and find me.
All right. Love it. Hey, good luck on the book. If you got a question for Chuck, why don't you send me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. We'll get you an answer. And when you're at the site, you could just click through to Chuck's site, no problem, and sign up for your free newsletter. Chuck, been a real pleasure. Appreciate you coming on the show, and good luck with the book.
Thank you so much, Kerry.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.